We're live.
We are live. Good morning, everybody. Super excited. We have Nic Nielsen with us, and I know everybody is excited to ask him a bunch of questions. I know I am. We're going to ask him a little bit about his LinkedIn journey, about how long it took him to get his footing, ask him about a few posts, and obviously answer all your questions. So make sure you get your questions in below, and we'll see you in however long.
Yeah, I don't know Nic, and I'm excited to get to know him a little bit here. This is gonna be fun.
Absolutely. Yep. Hello, everybody. Yeah, we're back. My sound has been echoey, so let me know. And actually, I'll talk to you about that, Nic. He said our sound was echoey once, and I actually heard that when he was live, actually last night. So I wonder if that's just a LinkedIn thing or something, because I got out of LinkedIn, jumped back, and everything was fixed. So anybody, let me know if you hear like a loud echo from Corey and I when it's going on, just so we know what's going on. We have Nic Nielsen with us, the LinkedIn artist. I think a lot of you already know Nic, but for those who don't, we're going to give him a chance to kind of tell a little bit of his story and why he's somebody absolutely you should follow, especially if you're a financial advisor, even if you're not. I'm going to highlight a few of Nic's posts that I love just to show you his themes.
I've got a blank wall. I'm ready to paint today.
Absolutely. I got this wall. I'm gonna paint on this. Everybody's gonna be painting.
Let's get him on. Bring him on.
Let's bring on Nic. Hey,
Good
man,
morning,
how's it
Nic.
going?
Hey guys, good morning.
Thanks so much for coming. I was just saying you were live with Christine Tay last night, and selfishly, my wife took my phone and was using it to feed my daughter. So I didn't get to jump on to the last 30 minutes, like right when it was ending, but I got to see some of your stuff. I hope that went well, and I appreciate you spending time with us this morning, jumping right back on live.
Yeah, man, great to be here. Super excited about this. As I was telling you, yesterday at 9:30 to 10:30, I just blocked that out on my calendar. This is when I sharpen my saw. This
I
is
love that, man.
Better every day.
Hey, the host in me has to do this just because we're going to record this and we'll use this going forward. And for those who don't know who Nic is, Nic, do you mind just kind of introducing yourself and just telling us, giving us a 30-second who you are and what you're about?
Yeah, financial planner. I live just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, originally from Southern Indiana, grew up in a small farm town. Lucky enough, played baseball in college. My wife and I, we've been married now for about 16 years. Very fortunate been able to adopt 3 awesome kiddos from South Korea, 2, 4, and 6. So life is great. My financial planning practice is really geared towards helping young high earners, typically who have the after-tax retirement plan. So trying to provide context in a world of content.
I love it, man. Busy house, 2, 4, and 6. You're rolling.
Life is good.
Man, yeah, and you're so optimistic and positive. It's like it sounds hectic, but it is also I guess you have to look at it for what it is. It really is a gift. This morning I was trying to tone down before the show, but my wife hasn't been getting a lot of sleep, so I was actually watching both kids by myself. But they were both really good for me. But it was nice to be able to hang out with them this morning before doing the show and then jumping on here and doing this. So it's really nice being forced at home and having a little bit of those moments.
Yeah, man, it's been such a blessing. It's made me incredibly more efficient with my business, but just to be able to have that additional time with the kids every day and have lunch with them. And who knows, the doors are locked, but the 3 kids are like MacGyver. They could break in at any time, and I could have my 4-year-old daughter on my lap during this live stream.
Yeah, I understand. Did you have an office before, or did you just start working from home 100%, or what do you think your situation is now versus your future?
Yeah, so we still have an office in South Charlotte. It's an amazing office. But we've been to the office 4 times since March 1st.
That's crazy.
And even clients that are local. We have clients all over the country, but we have a lot of clients that are local, and they've just fallen in love with Zoom. And we get on Zoom, and I do my whiteboard, and we share and draw pictures. And people have said, hey, even in the new world, can we continue to do this? I'm like, absolutely, this is great. So yeah, people have really adopted the virtual advice much better than I had ever anticipated.
Yeah, that's interesting to hear. We're going to go back eventually to some blend of a normal, but I don't think it's going to go back to the way it was in totality. But we'll see, but
I don't think it will go back almost, at all. And the reason is because, at least for I guess you're right. Not for everybody. Not everybody's the same. But in my opinion, when other clients realized, like I had clients who would live 5 minutes from the office, and they told me how they get there is, oh, I go this way and I make 2 right turns at this light so I can turn into the parking lot this way. And I'm thinking, you're 2 minutes away and you're thinking about making the comfortable right turns instead of the left. They didn't want to do technology. Now they're on Zoom, and now they don't have to drive at all. And now they're like, all I have to do is sit here. Even I think there's a lot of convenience factor that comes with this and time saving. If you can do everything in person, I've dealt with it personally. I don't know you, Nick, who's going to want to go back to seeing you. Maybe you have those people who can't wait, but I think this is going to change a lot for the future. Yeah,
I agree. And I think that people are more and more comfortable with trying to find the best advisor for their situation anywhere in the world. So even though I'm in Charlotte, if there's a Honeywell executive in Seattle who's convinced that I'm the very best financial planner for him and his family, I don't think he really cares that we meet via Zoom instead of going to the local Starbucks.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. So Nick, let's dive in a little bit, because I'm eager to know, and I don't want to spend too much of our time, or I want to spend more of our time getting to know you and getting to know how you got into this. So like, I found you, no one recommended that I find you or follow you or look up your account. I mean, I found you because of the community that you've built and the attention that you've built through what you're probably most known for on LinkedIn, which is your way to illustrate, basic or even complex financial kind of points. So walk me through, like, let's break this down and get to the beginning. Like, how did this even start? How did this happen? Like, walk me through this. Walk us through this.
Yeah. So right out of college, I worked as a licensed banker in a bank program, and I got to work with what I would say are 3 really good financial advisors that are probably as good as any financial advisors anywhere in the world. And the one thing that I noticed is that they were great storytellers, and they each had their own kind of strengths and weaknesses. And the one that I thought did the best job was a guy who could tell the story while drawing pictures. And he was so good that he could tell his story, make eye contact with somebody, and draw the picture without even looking at the page, type of deal. So Chris Barber, if you're out there, you're the best I've ever seen. And then being in that licensed banker role, I got to work with several of these great financial advisors at a young age. And what I tried to do is I took what I thought was the best part about them and just applied it to what I do every day for clients. And the one thing that I thought pictures allowed me to do is clients would see something and you'd see the light bulb that would go on and be like, now that makes sense. Nobody ever explained it to me that way. I'm a visual learner, but if I can see it while I'm hearing it, to have that story while I'm seeing the picture, then it really clicks for me. And I think that has really kind of attracted my tribe.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I feel like look, I've worked in financial services my whole career, so I get much of it. But I feel like it's so easy to lose people, even talking about things that most financial advisors take for granted, these basic concepts or acronyms that get tossed around so frequently that you just kind of gloss over. But then taking that and putting that into just a simple sketch seems like it's such a basic exercise, but works so well and with so many people. And I'm fascinated to hear about some of the feedback you've received on it.
Yeah, so the origin of the LinkedIn posts were really, my mom is a creative writing teacher. She's retired. And I was really trying to write these more long form blogs, the 1,800 to 24 word blogs. And I was getting bored while I was writing them.
Yeah.
I would send them, to my mom and be like, hey, what do you think? Take your red pen to it. And, her feedback, while loving, was, this is terrible. This is not something that someone would read. Make it shorter. I'd send it back to her. Now the 2,400 words was 1,200. She's like, this is still really painful to read. Try again. And we kept going through this iteration. And I was like, well, I could like just draw a picture and do 3 bullet points. She's like, well, try it because the other stuff is clearly not working. So, I draw the picture, a couple bullet points. She's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That's tolerable. Someone would read that. And so I was like, well, let's just try it. And, starting really around the 1st of May, I just decided I'm going to draw a picture, or on Wednesdays I do Boring is Beautiful, where I feature kind of a boring company that's had great returns. And I've just done that 5 days a week, and that has attracted a market of the like mind, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it's so different, and like because all the topics are always the same. So I that's something we talk about, with everybody who joins MCo, is like you're always talking about the same like topics. So that's why I always say personal brand is so important, because you're going to be talking about Roths and taxes and things, and then you need something to stand out. But that's why I was always so impressed with what you did, because you found a way to talk about the same thing in such a creative way. It just, I think, made you stand out technically wise from any other advisor, almost, in my opinion, of watching, like, especially with the Boring is Beautiful, one of those posts I'm going to be able to, that I'd love to highlight, because it comes with the actual figures that you put with it, the real math and real results behind it, the picture that goes along with it. It just, where did you come up with Boring is Beautiful? You were doing your pictures. I guess the pictures came first and then Boring is Beautiful came second?
Yeah. So I think that one of the barbarians that we talk about that's trying to come after our client's castle is the behavior barbarian. And it generally starts with, I just heard in the news, ... And, clients would say, I think I need to put all my money in gold. Or what do you think about putting all my money in XYZ hot stock? Right. So I think as a country, as a society, we want that instant gratification. And I would always come back and tell people that boring is beautiful. And let's look at some of these really boring companies that you would probably never invest in. It's never probably going to get an 80% annual return. You're probably never going to drive a fancy, it's not the Tesla, right? You're not going to get a 4X on your investment, but it's slow and steady. And you show some of these people, these boring companies that have delivered incredible returns, it's shocking to them.
Nic, I want to know, like, one of the things that's so, the behaviors that takes place in the industry is the mimicking, right? I feel like it's not just advisors, it's asset managers, mutual fund companies, whatever. I feel like everybody feels like they have to copy the same mold to feel like they fit in and match what their contemporaries are doing to be at the party. So when you step out, like, right, when you're writing 2,400 words, you're probably doing that because you're assuming that's what you should be doing. And then your mom,
yeah.
Your mom,
you show up on SEO, it's got to be 2,400 words, or Google's going to flag it and say it's terrible, and I'll make sure no one ever sees it.
Right. And then you're lucky enough, right, that your mom's like calling the BS and she's like, no. Like, no one's going to read this.
Google might like it, but nobody else will.
So it does take a little bit of foresight and risk to step out of the box and say, all right, maybe she's right. No one is going to read this, but what are they going to consume? And then, you're a financial advisor. You're working with money that's serious. You're working with people's futures and the wealth that they've accumulated their whole life. And then to break that down into a sketch and start to make that part of your mainstay marketing pillar, I don't think it's risky, but I think a lot of people might think that is risky. So was there any point where you're like questioning going out with this stuff consistently?
Well, one of the reasons that my business partner, Jeff Walters, and we left the bank in 2017 was we wanted to create our own content. So that was one of the things that we wanted to do. We felt that the story that we shared with clients, and we felt that our process was unique. And we tried other things first, right? So we were told all of the, you can't do this yourself, you need to outsource it. And we tried something for 6 months where they created the canned content, and I would just cringe every day at my feed, be like, oh my goodness, what's going to get posted on my Facebook or LinkedIn feed today? And it was literally just setting money on fire for 6 months. And I kid that it would have actually been better to literally set $100 bills on fire, because at least the smoke signal may have attracted someone and to see what was going on. So we tried a lot of things that didn't work, but in client and prospect meetings, people always love these pictures. And I wanted to do something different because everybody's doing video, and I can't compete with Keith on video. Keith Wilson is on a whole nother level. I don't want to play in that space.
Algorithm says you can.
So this is my algorithm, right? This is my canvas that I can compete on with the Keith.
Does it matter? So I reached out to you 2 weeks ago, and you had a really perfect response, that I felt great about. Even if you can't compete with Keith on video, if video is your thing, you can still make video. And the reason, right? I asked you about drawings, and your response to me was basically the world is abundant. There's plenty of canvas to draw on, so draw away. So I do want to draw that or make that point that advisors watching and listening, you guys don't have to be a Keith Wilson to make video. You just have to enjoy what you're doing and find a creative way to do it and a passion there. And you also don't have to be a Nic Nielsen to make drawings. You just have to find the passion and do it. It's not a competition. It's about finding your right balance.
Yeah, I agree with that. We've done some video, and one of the first videos that we did, it had something it was done poor. The lighting was terrible. Keith would be just embarrassed to even look at it, but it had 16,000 views, and over 80% of the people watched the entire video, the entire 2 minutes, which is just completely unheard of. And it was just comparing two people that each had $1 million. And I think one of them had the $1 million in their pre-tax 401k, and the other person had the money split, a little bit in a 401k, a little bit in a Roth, a little bit in cash value life insurance, and a little bit in an HSA. And it was just talking about the different paths that those two people will experience in retirement based on where they save their $1 million. And even to your point, the content wasn't great as far as what it looked like. The aesthetics were bad. It didn't have subtitles. But the message really resonated with a lot of people. And I think the message is what's most important. And however you can share that message the most effectively and efficiently is what you need to focus on.
Yeah. I know Ryan has some stuff to share, so I'll take a back seat here for a second. But I want to get one last question in with you, Nic. What advice would you give to advisors who are facing what you and your business partner were facing in 2017, and they're feeling like they need to grow their practice? They're not sure how. They know marketing's important, but they don't know where to go and how to get started.
One, I would say just start and be yourself, right? You have to be authentic, and you want to attract people of the like mind. Don't be afraid to share people what your beliefs are on certain subjects. And it's okay if you repel 80% of your population that might be clients, because you just need a small amount of people that you can change their lives, and consequently they can change yours, right? We're not trying to be financial planners to 1,000 families. We just need a small market that are passionate and have the same beliefs that you do around financial planning.
I love that.
Yeah. Really, I was just going to kind of lean in what we were already talking about and go over two of your posts and go over the themes that you do. And it's both of them. I kind of love both of them equally. And the fact that you have that too is just, I think, why we were getting into your creativity. But it sounds like something you just started doing and kept going. And I've seen people try to also do drawings, but there's something that obviously I feel like you're talented at it. You're better for at just displaying that message. And that's something that always attracted me to it, because you can tell when somebody else does it. So I want to share, let me see if I get the right screen. I want to share.
See what we got here, Ryan. See what you dug up out of the vault. I'm
going to guess here. Okay. This one. So this is do you guys see the 300K salary case study?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it actually, can you actually see it, or is it too small?
It's small, but I can make it out. I should remember it pretty well.
Keep zooming.
A little better. Okay. So one of the things that I wanted to kind of bring up, and I'll let you talk about this, Nic. Whenever somebody's wondering, like, what is a good title, or what do I think of when I say specific language? I made this example of when I'm talking to pharmacists, I may say something that would trigger a pharmacist's mind that somebody else wouldn't know, something about getting work done, so that they can get ready for the overnight because they know they're going to have too many prescriptions or whatever, things that I know that my wife has gone through. But a simple title here, 300K salary case study, already is getting, the view of the person that you're talking to, your ideal client, and who you deal with. So that's something that I always want to highlight, is like a title doesn't have to be, anything more than like that specific couple language is what's now going to target those people. It's going to be interesting to financial advisors, but
I'm 38. I've got 3 kids. I'm married. Yeah. Hang on a second. What else we got here?
So like, obviously the great post that comes along with it, good spacing, just enough emojis. I feel like where it's not overdone, and the figures that come along with it. And then something that we all know Nic for, or if you don't, you will now, is the drawings. I'm going to try to zoom out just a little bit if I can do this correctly, is the drawing. So something that comes along with this is, after you read this post, after you see that title, maybe you read this whole thing, and then this really cements it, I feel like, for everything that you're talking about. And you can almost jump down and look at the picture first before you're even reading this and kind of get an idea of what you're talking about, and then go up here and read. So I want to know, Nic, how long does one of these posts take you to make?
So I'm a little different than most. Usually it's about 10 or 15 minutes per post. So what I will do is, when I'm out in the morning on my morning walk, I might be listening to a podcast, or I'll just be thinking, and I'll text myself when I have ideas. And so then when it's time for me to sit down and create something like this, I already have a list of 5 or 8 or 10 ideas that I've been kind of already marinating on in my head. So it's just a matter of getting out the surface, grabbing my bamboo pen, and busting it out. But something like this probably took me 10 or 15 minutes. So it's not real labor intensive, in all honesty.
Cool. As anybody can see, like the reaction here of having 68 likes, 40 comments of everybody who wants engagement. And Nic has 4,600 followers. So sometimes you'll see people with 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 followers who have numbers like this. So I guess my point of telling you that is, it's not so much about your follower count or your numbers. It's about, like you said, even if you're rejecting 80% of the people, the 20% that are following you are a really strong following. And that's something that you've built with these cool drawings. And the second one that I wanted to highlight, and the second thing that I love, is the boring is beautiful, which we've already touched on. Let me see if I get this right.
Well, this has been a great ego boost for me this morning. This is fantastic.
You're welcome, dude. 2 for 2. I got it right. I shared the right one. It just says Nic Nielsen, so I was just hoping. Another one is boring is beautiful, and again, nice title along with the figures that come along with it. And I'm wondering, how long does this post take you?
These are super easy. These are like 2-minute posts. Probably the hardest part is, deciding what image I want to use when I go to Canva for, Colgate. But I mean, that's the iconic tricolor toothpaste right there. Few things say great more than that.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to show this one, is just kind of like the popping image. And let's talk about in terms of your hashtags, whatever the hell these are called. Yeah. What do you find is, you said you have clients everywhere, and I always see that you have Charlotte. Have you found success in, I guess, hashtagging or branding local?
I think the hashtagging makes a significant difference. Posts without hashtags would probably get less than half the viewership than when I use the hashtags. And so our real focus is these companies that have that after-tax retirement contribution option to super fund Roth IRAs. That's a lot of our focus. And so Salesforce, Honeywell, Pepsi, and The Hartford, those are 4 companies that have a pretty significant presence in the Carolinas that have that after-tax contribution option. So I want to appeal to that demographic for anybody that's happening to follow those hashtags. And then financial planning, obviously that connects a lot with our community that we're in. The local one, I don't know as much about the Charlotte hashtag as I would about the company specific hashtags, to be completely honest with you. But there's a lot of people who follow, I think hashtag dividends is a pretty large following as well. So in this post here, I think the third kind of emoji, it talks about yield on cost, which is something that Warren Buffett talks a lot about. And I've gotten a significant amount of DMs regarding yield on cost and just kind of a different way to think about long-term investing. So that's been really, I just kind of threw that in there as a trial. And then I started getting these DMs about yield on cost. Like, hey, that's really cool. I never thought about the long-term impact of yield on cost. I'm getting, in that example there, 55% yield on cost every year just from the dividend. That took 30 years to get there, but that's pretty cool. That every 2 years you'd essentially be getting your initial investment back in this example.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead,
Nick,
Corey,
how has your I'm just gonna, Ryan, do you care if I zip out of here so we get our?
Yeah, sorry.
No problem. Nick, how has your activity and what you've been doing and just the amount of work you've put into your content changed your business? And you mentioned May of this year was when this kind of started to take off.
Yeah. So, directly from LinkedIn, we've had we're at, I think, 18 new relationships.
That's huge.
Wow.
And, as we all know, LinkedIn is where the money is at on social media. When you look at, average income per household of Facebook versus Twitter versus LinkedIn, I think the last numbers I saw, LinkedIn was 7x Facebook, 2x or 4x Twitter. So, these are substantial relationships that we've got. So, it's been a business changing trajectory for us for sure.
It's been well worth the time, is what we're getting at.
There's no other thing that I could have done to get this ROI.
Yeah.
So Ryan and I talked yesterday or a couple days ago, about the organic reach taking place on LinkedIn. So if LinkedIn has the money and the people with the money, it also has the attention, and your message can go as far as it can go on any of the social platforms. There couldn't be a more perfect storm or a more perfect time to be doing what you're doing and what we're encouraging so many advisors to get started doing.
And they need to start soon, like yesterday, because it's not going to be free forever.
Right.
I've tried, Facebook ads and some other things, and that's been another thing that for me has not worked really well. And here I am attracting clients, doing something that I love. It doesn't feel like work at all, and I'm essentially able to do it for free on LinkedIn. It's not always going to be like that.
No, we can't tell when it's going to end, but you're so spot on. It's we're probably past the fifth inning anyways.
Especially the time. I thought it took you so much more time to do those posts. Just the fact that you do them so quickly is, and I guess that just comes with the fact that you've done them a lot and you have your groove now, and you have your thing. You're good with your pictures. You have your ideas, so it just comes along. But even with calculating and everything, I just figured it took more time. But man, that's like the best of both worlds. It's like the strongest impact. Well, obviously, yeah. You just, I know. I'm sure you're not. You go back to the whiteboard and you're doing it by hand, and you're like, "There's got to be a better way."
Yeah. A lot of it is these pictures. These are pictures that we've been drawing with prospects and clients for 7 years. So a lot of these are not new pictures to me because I've done them for so long. But that's just part of the storytelling process that we've done on a day-to-day basis for 7 years. So while it's new to a lot of people who are seated on LinkedIn for the first time, these are pictures that Jeff and I have drawn 100 times. So that also makes it a lot quicker. I will say that we had this great idea for a video, and it was going to be a 45-second video was the goal. And like, yeah, we're going to go into the office. We got the lighting just right. We're going to knock this out. 8 hours later, we got about 15 seconds of the video that we like. And we're like, this is terrible. This is the worst thing ever. So, I could have probably created 3 months worth of LinkedIn posts and written a book by the time it took us to do that 45-second video. So
that's huge, yeah, because it's like, find what it is you're good at and double down on it, man. Like, stop, obviously try other things, but just, you made the point there. Like, I could have done this and it would have been so much more valuable of our time.
For sure. Here's an interesting question that I'd actually like to address is, what kind of time would you say it took before you started feeling the rewards of posting?
That's a great question. When I really embraced this LinkedIn strategy of doing the pictures, I think within the first month, I got a client, and at first I thought it was like a bot, like it was a woman who reached out to me that said, I'm ready, and I'm like, I'm ready for what? She's like, I'm ready. And I'm like, I think you might have the wrong person. She's like, no,
or the wrong app.
Yeah, exactly. Right to become a client. But anyhow, she's like, I've read all of your posts. I've read everything on your website. Like, you're exactly what I've been looking for. And so that gave me a lot of confidence right out of the gate. Like, hey, this actually worked. I had a conversation with her. This is a real person with, real financial planning issues that I can help. And from there, it just was kind of like pushing the snowball downhill. It just kept getting bigger and bigger and faster and faster. And, the majority of, 95% of like my prospecting time is all from LinkedIn at this point.
Do you do anything else anymore? Do you spend any money anywhere, or have you stopped all ads and just said, let's just do this? And that's you're sticking to it. Is that where you're at now?
Yeah. So what I'm gonna start doing here in the future is I'm gonna start running ads on LinkedIn.
Nice.
For webinars. Details still being worked out on that. The webinar is approved at this point, which is one that it's basically a webinar of all hand-drawn pictures around super funding your Roth IRA. So super excited about that. But we're going to target those specific, executives and higher earners at those companies that we know specifically have that after-tax retirement plan.
I can't wait to watch that.
Yeah.
One thing
sure you get in on that. Can't miss.
Send me the link. Send me the link directly, so I don't have to cost you $3.75 for clicking the registration page.
Yeah, try $6.
Yes. Yeah. It's a thing, but it's true. If it's working.
Yeah, if you think about the value of, a relationship. I mean, I'd spend $5,000 to get the type of clients that we're getting. I would gladly hand somebody $5,000 because I know that I'm going to retain these clients for the next 30 years.
Right. Yeah,
man.
Spot on.
I mean, and I think that's what gets people going with spending that much money and finding programs and wanting something to work like this. And I think it's hard for anybody to accept. Like, you may think you're an average guy, but I think what you're doing is really talented. You and Jeff working together, having that tight package, know my plan. Like, the website looks great. The post that you guys have. I just think it all flows together, and it's a strong brand that's grown that I've noticed. So I know other people too. And I'm honestly not surprised by your success, honestly.
Appreciate it, brother. It means a lot.
Yeah,
it's been a great ego boost this morning. This is great. We should do this more often.
Absolutely. What else? Okay, so as a follow-up, how important would you say your website is to actually convert? I'm pretty restricted regarding website customization. So that's a good one. How do you feel like your website does?
Let me jump in real quick and add some context. I have a feeling, 95% certainty, this is coming from an Edward Jones advisor.
I believe it's Clay. I don't know why it does LinkedIn user, but I'm pretty sure that's Clay.
Yeah. Point is, Edward Jones has many speed bumps to get over.
Yeah. So I have a contrarian viewpoint on this. This might be against what you guys think. I don't think the website's that important. I think people might go to the website to validate what they think about you. Okay, this guy has a website, looks legit. I can click on something that takes me to broker check. It looks like he probably hasn't spent time in jail before. But if you're creating content that's so amazing on LinkedIn, they're going to connect with you. They are gonna hunt you down, whatever it takes. I mean, as long as someone knows your email address and your phone number on your website, everything else can be just noise. But every client that I've met with since May has found me on LinkedIn. And yes, many of them have gone to my website, and maybe this just validated some of the things that I've shared on LinkedIn. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's that important. I think way too much emphasis is on the website and what your logo looks like.
I think that's contrarian to most marketing people. I think Ryan and I would more than agree with you that your website, here's what I believe. It's a table stake. You have to have it because people do their due diligence on who you are there. So there has to be something there. But I would not necessarily make that your hub of where you're spending all your time and money.
And I saw this really cool website. I'm almost would be tempted to do it. It looks like a website that hasn't been updated since like 1988. Like it's the most basic website ever. That's just like name, email, phone number, and like pager number, right? It's like all the information that's on it. Like the text is really old school. Like it looks like it was done on a typewriter. I was like, oh,
MySpace link.
This is my kind of website. But it almost intrigues you. Like, who is this person? This is like a top secret financial planning firm that only the super affluent know about.
He's so busy. He hasn't been on the internet in 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And probably too with the website, like that's probably where people are booking conversations or consultations or whatever you're offering, right? So if they could do that on LinkedIn, they probably would. Some people aren't comfortable messaging you. So that just shows how ready somebody is. But I would imagine most people go to the website because that's where they know they can contact somebody in a comfortable, like separating way.
Yeah, and a lot of people will send me a DM and be like, hey, I'm Bob. I just wanted to let you know I set an appointment on your website. If you didn't get it, let me know. So yeah, it would be awesome if there was like a button, hey, set appointment.
So you're just that's what a great message. Like what a great message.
Salesy too, though. I think you don't want to have like the call to action. I think is so counterintuitive. I don't think we would do that in any other walk of life. Is end every message with someone like, "Hey, Corey, it was really great chatting with you today for the first time," and then have this.
When can we meet?
Call to action. When can we meet?
Yeah.
So I think I like the non-salesy approach. I'm just providing education and content. If this helps you, you can apply it in your personal life. That's great. If you want me to help apply it for you, that's cool too. The one thing I would share with financial advisors, because I know that's your audience, is don't be discouraged if the only people who engage with your content is other financial advisors. That's okay, right? Because if there's a post that you feel really proud about and the only people are financial advisors, the average person who's an account executive at the local company that you want to work with, they might feel intimidated to jump in that post with 19 other financial advisors and financial planners and CPAs talking shop. But they'll send you a DM. They'll go to your website and schedule an appointment. So it's great when people like stuff. It's great if they do want to comment. But don't get frustrated if you don't have a lot of comments.
I'm so glad you're saying that. Industry. Speaks. I mean, you're telling Ryan and I everything that we believe in right now. Like, reaffirming why we're even doing this, because you're right. Like, while they might not comment and like it, they see it.
Yeah, it's in their collective subconscious now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would almost tell everybody not to get discouraged if it doesn't happen as quickly as the first month. That's what's so hard. That's why I say it does come with talent. Like there is a talent there. But maybe what I would tell everybody is if you obviously just took your kind of presentations with clients and put it into LinkedIn. If anybody has anything creative they're doing and can think backwards of that, maybe that would help. It sounds like, you were accidentally building your LinkedIn content all along as you were doing that. So it's nice that you just got to transition something you were so good at and just do it here. And it transitioned well with clients. So of course it connects well with new clients as well.
Right. And also I'm using those client conversations, the questions that clients have, if you're hearing questions repeatedly or more than once, that's probably a good idea that you can create some sort of content around that, because there's probably a lot of people that have the same question if you're hearing it more than once.
Yep. Yeah. So Ryan, why don't we, we'll keep Nick's time we'll be respectful of it, but if anyone has any questions, get them in. Let's address them and chat while we have Nick on. And Ryan, if you have some other stuff for Nick, or if Nick, you have questions and you want to, or other points you want to make, let's,
I'm really excited about the advice that you gave me, which I am going to implement at least once a week. I'm going to pick out one of the drawings that I've done, and I'm going to do some video to it. Like I'm going to record myself drawing the picture, and then I'm going to add audio to it and just give people some, behind the scenes thoughts or Nick's notes and nuggets. So I am going to implement that. I think it's great advice. You guys on the daily are providing amazing ideas for financial planners out there to sharpen the saw.
I appreciate the commercial.
When you're already doing something cool, because then you can like repurpose, or if something's already working, it's easy to play off of that. I think where everybody has the real trouble is they're like, what the hell do I do to start working? And that's what can be discouraging. But there's a lot of people who are having success on LinkedIn. So that's why we encourage everybody to push through and find out what you're good at. And you have to test each thing. Like, Nick said, he says wasted 8 hours doing a video when he could have just made all those posts. But what you learned is that maybe video is not your thing, but how would you have known had you not taken that time to diligently, give it an effort and try, and then you just see what's actually working, what's faster, and what to double down on. But you won't know unless you do more stuff. So, it's hard to tell everybody just to do more and try more, but it's really all we can do to find our thing. And then when you find it, it works really well, apparently, so.
Yeah, I think you just got to be authentic. And I think most financial advisors, they do something that's a little bit unique as part of their process. And I think you just need to think about when clients have that aha moment, like, oh, that makes sense now, or I never thought about it that way, or thanks for explaining it that way. Whatever the secret sauce is that you have as a financial planner, like, that's what you got to embrace. Like, if you're a great storyteller, do nothing, do a walk and talk with analogies, right? You just got to figure out what you do best, what your secret sauce is that clients are paying you for, and try to use that as the conduit to create great content. People will find you if you create great content.
Agreed.
That's awesome. I appreciate
Nick, thanks for the time, man.
Yeah, absolutely. It was awesome. Super valuable to talk to somebody who's successful and is actually doing it. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, I really appreciate having you on here. I was obviously excited. I've known you for a long time, and I know other people would get a ton of value for it. So I appreciate you spending some time with us. I really do. And if you ever need anything, help with doing a podcast or something new that you're not sure, I really think you could even do something cool with that. I know it sounds weird with drawings, but just your description of describing a drawing sometimes goes a long way. So I love that you're implementing new ideas. I hope it works out for you, and we'll stay in touch. Maybe we'll bring you back on here and see how that idea played out, and let us know how those videos are doing. And
see if I can get some hate mail.
Yeah.
Don't get by the hate mail either, right? If you're not getting some hate mail, you're probably not trying hard enough. And someone had sent me a text. They wanted to know what I'm using to create the drawings. I use Microsoft Whiteboard, and then I use a bamboo pen. So someone had sent me a note. I tried doing this with a stylus, and I about lost my mind. So spend $20, get the bamboo pen. It makes life much easier.
Okay, bamboo pen. Got it. Awesome.
Nick,
thanks so
really
much.
good to meet you, man. And I look forward to continuing to, to our relationship going forward. Good to meet you.
Great. Good luck, guys. Appreciate you.
Cheers.
Yeah.
One of the things that Nick brought up that I feel like we keep hammering, and it seemed easy to ignore, but like, this is not going to last forever. Like LinkedIn, like it will be gone, and then it's going to cost $6.50 to get your message in front of somebody.
Yeah. I mean, everybody go post on Facebook and see what happens. If it's your friends and family, if it's your regular organic page and you're growing there. But most businesses can't do that. They make you open a business page so they can watch it. Even LPL with Social Patrol, it's awesome that they get to monitor it, but you have to do a business page, and it's just harder to travel like that. They want you to spend money. So the organic growth is, you know, we don't want to jam it down your throat all the time, but it's like why we tell everybody to start posting, at least try something, because one client will change your life. It could be you get a financial plan. Maybe you charge $2,000 and they have $500,000 and you get $5,000 a year at 1%. I mean, that stuff changes people's life, and and then it gets you going. It makes you feel more comfortable and you can pay more bills. And, you know, it only takes one to get rolling. So be optimistic.
They added 18 clients in less than a year. Like, what other proof do you need to get started in creating content? And you don't have to add 18 clients. You could add 2 clients and it will have been successful.
Yeah, I mean, for him to say LinkedIn is life-changing was absolutely true. I mean, see what he's doing, and see it's not done. You know, people are going to see this. People are going to see his live that he did with Christine Tay. People are going to see the new videos that he does, and then they're going to go back to his LinkedIn, and they're going to see all his drawings. And then they're going to check out his website, make an appointment, or DM him or something. Like, that's how this stuff works, guys. So it's like, I don't know. That's why I wanted to bring somebody on who I felt was impressive, who was doing this successfully, just so you could see that it actually works. But at the same time, realistic, knowing that there's talent involved. We talk about these guys like Keith and Ruffalo and Nick, oddly enough, all in the Carolinas, are super talented guys, but they're successful on LinkedIn, and they spent time working on their craft, you know. So I think it's important to realize that, and to
it's also a variable there. They're good people. Like, I haven't met Ruffalo and Keith yet, and I look forward to hopefully at some point, you know, crossing paths.
I honestly don't like either of those guys, but I do like Nick. No, I'm just kidding. No, they're both cool. I like all of them.
Authentic people doing fun, creative things seems to be the path to success here.
Absolutely. Yeah. Got to have fun with it. That was one of my posts, just a random thought that I had, which is like, if you're not having fun with what you're doing, then you're going to quit and you're going to stop. So if you don't like it, you know, if Nick spent all his time doing videos and somebody told him all you have to do is video, maybe he just stops altogether. But if you find something you're already doing that you enjoy, like your drawings, it's easy to do that once a day. You're already doing it for clients. So, you know, find your thing. And, you know, obviously, if you guys have any questions, always feel free to reach out. Thanks for hanging out with us for so long. Everybody who's still here at 47 minutes, that's a lot of your day to be spending with us. And I really appreciate that. And on Friday, we have Andres coming on from Trust and Wills, who probably should have talked to Nick about, because they know each other, as Andres knows everybody. He's been talking to everybody. So I'm super excited to talk to him as well. That's going to be a really good show where we get to talk to him about branding, about how Trust and Wills has been growing. I'm super excited about that. So Fridays, you know, tomorrow is going to be awesome. I don't know what the hell we're talking about, but it's going to be great. Friday, I'm super excited for it. So be here every day. And
bottom line.
And I guarantee you'll learn something. I hope. And if you don't, you know, then
like Nick said, sharpen the saw.
Sharpen the saw. Send us a question and we'll make a topic about it. So again, appreciate it. All right, guys.
Talk soon.
Yep. All righty. Take it easy, guys. I'm just letting it play out. And I got a message from Nick. Andres is incredible. I had my Trust and Will Yeti today. Yeah.
That's such a great tchotchke. I sent some of those last year from Marketers Company. They're expensive, but people use them.
How do I edit this? And then this. Remove this.
We just lost Nick.